I've won. The kings reacted just as I predicted he would.
I've won. This is my perfect victory. Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to some more Vinland Saga. Episode 23. Well, 2 more episodes. This one and the next one until the end of the season. We are getting closer and closer to what I assume should be Askeladd's death, I think. Honestly, I do think they should kill Askeladd. It's one of those things where I don't really see the show going anywhere without killing Askeladd. Sometimes when they do like a revenge story or, you know, protagonist wants to kill the villain or whatever, right? They end up doing this thing where they kind of introduce the villain as a good character, basically, and then they refuse to kill them off, and instead end up having them kind of, I don't know, be redeemed or something like that, right? But in this case, personally, I just don't see the show going in any other direction, so I'm assuming that at some point, whether in the finale of this season or in the next season somewhere, they're going to kill Askeladd. They have to. But regardless, last time, after dealing with Bjorn and, you know, dueling him and, you know, killing him, we had our rematch once again with Thorfinn, and I'm not gonna lie, the fight was really, really disappointing, at least to me. In my opinion, they could have had the exact same outcome, but had the fight actually be more of a fight. I personally think that it's a little bit ridiculous to say that Thorfinn just loses his ability to fight when he, you know, loses his cool. Like, that's not how it works. Not really. Even if you lose your cool temporarily or whatnot, right? I still think someone who is kind of a hardened veteran warrior at this point would not, well, one, they wouldn't lose their cool so easily, but even if they did, they wouldn't just immediately get overpowered just because of that, right? So it's a little bit bullshit in my opinion, but regardless, yeah, they kind of had their fight and Askeladd beat him up easily and then proceeded to essentially tell us his backstory, which was very, very interesting. And he inadvertently kind of taught Thorfinn how to kill for revenge, which is to kill them in their sleep. So, I mean, I did say that maybe now Thorfinn will kill Askeladd in his sleep or something, but I don't know. I guess we'll have to see what happens. Let's just get into it, shall we?
What do you have in that barrel?
It's wine. Just wine.
What's the point?
Royal meeting.
What's the point of even asking if you're not gonna check?
All the lords will be here.
Wow.
The fact that they even say that, what's in that barrel? Oh, it's just wine. It's just wine. Makes me think that it's not just wine, and makes me think that there was a guy in there, probably Thorfinn or something, because he's small, right?
Enough lords to eat this much food.
Oh, never mind. He's still dragging his feet.
No, it's true.
How does that even... Yeah, one of the weirdest things to me in anime sometimes is how do 2 people run into each other when it's like there's so much space and you can see each other coming from a mile away, but it's like you keep walking into each other? Like, what? Like, maybe I could understand this in like some sort of, you know, stereotypical American high school or something, where 2 jocks walking toward each other, you know, like face to face, and then neither of them refuses to go around, essentially, right? And then they walk into each other, and then they start a fight. Like, that's the only situation where I can imagine that in.
Got stabbed and didn't know it.
There's so much space, bro. But yeah, Thorfinn seems to be out of it still. I'm not really sure what's gonna happen here.
What really happened yesterday?
There was an attempt on the prince's life.
The implications are quite concerning, and the rumors shouldn't be ignored.
So it would appear that the king still has his heart set on Prince Harold succeeding him to the throne. Prince Canute supporters must be displeased.
My
The
lords,
next thing we have to do
please
is...
rise. I present to you Prince Canute and His Majesty the King.
This guy is so fucking ugly. Holy shit.
What happened to Thorfinn?
Not sure. Still, you shouldn't have need of a guard at the moment, Your Highness. Unless they have a death wish, no one would be foolish enough to shed blood in here.
That just makes me think that someone is foolish enough to shed blood in here.
Come on, walk faster! You're wasting time!
You stupid brat.
Seeing ghosts. Hallucinations. I think he's like magnetized to people's asses or something. You know, he keeps running into people. So what's going on here? Did he get like a... Huh?
So what do you want?
The fact that he had some sort of like, you know, like a, I don't want to say vision, but like, you know, feeling, I guess you could say, of Askeladd. Is that supposed to signify that Askeladd's gonna die? And that's kind of what he was like, you know, feeling. Like, oh my god, what? Askeladd died? And grab some random guy's ass, you know?
Where do you think you're going? You dare put your filthy hands on me? What's your problem, you little brat? Huh?
Look at us when we're talking to you.
Hey! Now say something, boy! What's wrong with him?
He just
Trying
dropped
to
so.
mess with us?
That was funny.
Why don't you empty your pockets?
You're dead.
You little...
Fools! Wait, again? It's you!
It's you! Oh my god, it is.
Your sentence will come later. Just wait in there for now.
It's interesting how he's,
Welcome,
It's like he's cooled down, but
I thank you all
I really have no
for
idea what he's thinking. Maybe he's not thinking about anything.
After pursuing this dream for many years, my dominion over England has been realized. I'm pleased to have you back, my son. You fill my heart with pride. As thanks for all that you've accomplished, I bestow Mercia to your care. We'll work together and bring prosperity to this new land. And Thorkel, I'd like you to support my son. Help him with his governance.
Gladly.
Whoa, Mercia.
But that's the richest territory in all of England. Well, perhaps they were only rumors after all.
And I hope you will continue to show such valor as we move on to Ireland. That is our next campaign. Home of the...
You know, I really wonder what these types of characters, like if you could ask them one question, or if I could ask them one question, and I would ask them, when they say, oh, we move on to Ireland, I would ask them, why? Why? You have enough land, you have enough people, you have enough, riches. Why? What their answer would be, right? I would love to know their answer in this case. And if they say some bullshit about honor, then, my opinion on honor, right? To me, greed does not equal honor. Just because you fight in a battle and you die, that's not honorable, okay? If you fight for the right reason, that's honorable. And honestly, fighting to get more land and more riches and whatnot, that's not honorable. Like, honor comes from the right places, not greed.
Who once dealt our armies a bitter loss, tormenting the late King Harold.
I've won. The kings reacted just as I predicted he would.
I've won. This is my perfect victory.
What a pleasant expression, Floki. I'm afraid you're getting the short end of the stick from now on.
Ooh. He's being too cocky. He's being too cocky. He's celebrating before anything has happened yet. I'm thinking shit will go down that he won't expect. I'm starting to think that the feeling I got with Thorfinn might be on the money here.
I've taken control of this fight. Every piece in its place. I've done it.
There is one problem. Our work is not done. This island is still home to impudent men who do not respect their king. And it must be addressed immediately. Envoys were sent to them, offering them a chance to become my vassals. Twice, in fact, I extended that offer, and twice my generosity was refused. If there is a rebellion threatening to take root inside our new territory, we must spare no effort to weed it out entirely. Wales, men. Before we go to Ireland, we must demonstrate to the Welsh people the true extent of a real king's power. In spring, we begin the advance. So be ready, gentlemen.
What? Wait, what? Hang on, whoa, hang on. Let me go back a little.
We must demonstrate to the Welsh people the true extent of a real king's power.
I'm not sure I understand what happened here.
To Ireland, we must demonstrate to the Welsh people the true extent of a real king's power.
I'm not really sure what happened here. Like, why is Askeladd so surprised here? Must be going over my head, to be honest. Something must be going over my head.
Wake up. Do you hear me, boy? Wake up now!
Like, it's clear that Askeladd didn't expect something.
It's me, Thorfinn. I say, Thorfinn, I was worried.
This has nothing to do with you.
11 years, right? I can't imagine the anguish you must have suffered. I could never understand. You were right to yell. As long as he lives, you will never be at peace, and you'll always long for vengeance. If you really believe that's what you need. However, I remember, almost as if it were only yesterday, your father, Helga, Ylva, and you, and the smile you had as a child. Our provisions had run out, and my ship was wrecked. All 6 of my crewmates died of the cold, but I didn't stop. I continued my trek across the unforgiving ice. Do you know why I didn't give up? Because no matter the violence of the waves, no matter if the water is frozen solid, sailors never abandoned their fight against the sea. Just like a warrior. Once Thors had left this world, and after you had disappeared, I swore, and I put my honor on the line. Do you understand? That's why I'm not here for your sake alone, but mine as well. No matter the cost, I swore I would bring you back home to Iceland. I must. That's how I will respect the memory of Thors.
I definitely assume that eventually, we're gonna have that moment. I predicted as much very early on as well. There's just gonna be that moment, probably in the second season, where, Thorfinn finally comes back home, right? But if I'm thinking, okay, what needs to happen before that happens? I would say Askeladd needs to die. And then instead of, Thorfinn doesn't just immediately go home. He probably wanders. Maybe he wanders, maybe he helps some people. Because to me, for Thorfinn, Askeladd is kind of like a stepping stone, right? To increase his character, to elevate his character. He will never grow, in my opinion. Or in my opinion, he shouldn't grow until Askeladd is dead. Because it's kind of like I said some episodes ago, where once Askeladd dies, then what? Right? For Thorfinn, then what? He has no other purpose. And then Askeladd dies, and then he has to find his purpose. And then he maybe he goes on a journey, maybe he wanders, maybe he helps the prince a little, I don't know. Point is, he grows, and then finally, maybe some years later, he finally goes home and has that reunion. And then he's grown to become, maybe in his travels or something, he realizes, yes, my father was right. You don't need a weapon to be a warrior or something, something like that. And then he goes home and finally has that reunion. But ultimately, I don't see any of that happening without Askeladd's death. So,
Son of Eric,
we'll have to see.
Ivar.
The biggest problem would be if they just had, as I said, Thorfinn just kind of give up on Askeladd. Like, that would be such a slap in the face, I feel like. It's fine. Bear in mind, it's fine if someone else kills Askeladd. It would be best if Thorfinn did, because it would be a cool storyline of, Thorfinn kills Askeladd finally. Regardless whether it was a fair fight or not, doesn't really matter. But in the end, let's say Thorfinn kills Askeladd and then kind of realizes, oh, now what? Right? And we're back into that same storyline again, where it's like he has no other purpose other than killing Askeladd, or, striving to kill Askeladd. So it's like, I think the best way to do it would be that Thorfinn kills him, but even if Askeladd were to die via some other means, I think it would still kind of lead in the same direction, but all of it still hinges on the same fact of Askeladd dying. In other words, the worst thing they can do, in my opinion, is not kill Askeladd.
Accept your reward with grace.
It's just about how they go about killing him, eventually.
His eyes betray nothing of any displeasure.
It was only for a moment, Your Majesty. When you said Wales, the blood left his face. I believe there is something in that land that will reveal his weakness to us.
Yeah, he did mention Wales, but... Oh yeah, right, because their next target was Ireland, right? And so when they mentioned Wales, then he was like, ugh.
Damn it. Has he found out about my connection to Wales? No. Impossible. I never told Floki. Even if he was aware of it, the king wouldn't redirect his entire army just to antagonize me. No matter, I suppose. The problem is that Wales will be a sea of fire come spring. Come on, think. Hurry. There's no time. What can I do to stop this? Have the prince lead a revolution? No. We'd only count on Thorkel's 500 to support us. They'd beat us with sheer numbers. I could bring a few generals to our side.
I like this. I like this.
What if I incited the English to take up arms again? No. Wales would still become the field of battle. Violence isn't the answer here. Besides, in all the commotion, the king could easily send an assassin to eliminate Canute.
I'm not gonna lie, that moment with Askeladd definitely reminded me of like, you know, light Yagami or Lelouch, right? I definitely love characters who are just smart, right? Who actually think, and we hear their thoughts, and it's like, it's so fun. Definitely gave me that Death Note vibe, when the characters are like actively thinking, when they're like under pressure and they have to immediately like quickly figure out something, and they have kind of a deadline, and they're like panicking inside their head. Ah, it's so good.
Out to the west, across the ocean.
Vinland.
There's a land full of fruit trees. And grassy meadows cover the landscape as far as the eye can see. Vinland, Thorfinn. Remember. It's Vinland! And when things have settled, we can look for it together.
I thought you knew where it was.
Why would I?
You said yourself that's what you wanted. And I know it's what Thor's wanted as well. He went to Iceland because he'd hoped to escape the constant fighting. If he were still alive, there's nothing he would want more than for us to find it. Far away from the wars of man. Rich and plentiful. Let's build it together. We can create that place. I know it.
I don't think it's gonna be so simple.
I wanted to ask about Wales, and I was following you. You managed to disappear there. I was wondering, what trick did you use for that? You're a Dane. Why the hell would the Welsh be willing to hide your army?
That land is my true home. It's my country. The terrain is poor, but the people are proud.
If that's the case, I'm sorry. This doesn't look good for you.
I mean, the thing is, you know, sure, he doesn't want Wales to, like, become a battleground, but I never really took Askeladd as one to be, I guess you could say, so caring, you know? To me, Askeladd seems like the type of person who would, like, well, you know, there's not much I can do about it. I don't want Wales to go, but, you know, if a sacrifice needs to be made, then it is what it is, right? You know, now that I think about it, I'm not really sure what Askeladd's, like, end goal is, to be honest. Sure, to have Prince Canute, you know, become king, but, like, then what? Like, what's the end goal here? You would think he would need the king's power to do something, or to set something in motion, or something, but we don't really know.
Askeladd, son of Olaf, you may approach your king.
I wonder why it is. Men like me have the best luck. Right up until the last moment.
Right up until the last moment, indeed. Oh boy, oh boy. The thing is, right, something I started thinking halfway through is, why don't they just kill Askeladd? You know? Like, if they're so, like, oh, Askeladd is such a threat. Ooh. You know, they're even talking about him because Floki saw some sort of like reaction from him. They're like straight up talking about him as if they know that Askeladd is their biggest threat, right? Why don't they just have him killed? You know? I feel like it would be easy to be like, because no one really knows about Askeladd. Askeladd isn't important in any way. Not really. Sure, he works for the prince, but like, he's a nobody, technically. But if they know that he is their biggest threat, then why not just have him killed? Like straight up, just announce, be like, hey, we found evidence that Askeladd is or what has been plotting against the king or something, and then just have him killed. Kill him, and then even if someone says something else like, oh, what's your proof? I don't need to explain myself to you. I'm the king. And then if the prince says something, then it's like, well, you can just get another retainer. You can just get another ally. You know, there's plenty of them. Just get someone else, right? I feel like they don't even need any evidence to kill him. The king can't kill the prince because there's like you actually kind of need a reason to be a kinslayer, right? You know, you can't just have your own son killed like that, right? For no reason. But with Askeladd, he is not important in any way to them. So it's kind of like, I feel like they can just come up with any reason they want and just kill him. No problem. Why don't they just do that? If they know that he is their biggest enemy and the strategist, just have him killed, like in front of everybody if needed. Doesn't really matter. They can just come up with random reasons why it was justified. I mean, maybe they're doing exactly that right here. Like he said, maybe that his luck is really good up until the last moment, right? And we are going into the last episode, so I guess we'll see. But yeah, regardless, I hope you enjoyed episode 23 of Vinland Saga. I love this episode. I love the moment where he was like thinking and doing the whole Death Note thing. I love it when smart characters think and we hear their thoughts, right? It's just, I don't know. Death Note is just really cool, you know? It is what it is. But yeah, I shall see you for the finale of season 1 of Vinland Saga next time. Until then.